Hi there. My name is Erin Byron. I'm a registered psychotherapist and co-author/author of several books on mind-body health, including Yoga Therapy for Stress and Anxiety and Yoga for the Creative Soul, which will play a little bit into some of the techniques that I will be bringing you today. This is part 2 of a 3-part video series for parents who are coping in uncertain times. And coping is a really important concept here. As things continue to progress, and we're not sure what direction they're progressing into, our stress levels and our own coping strategies might be paying the price. So, for as important as self-care is, that is remembering to make sure our basic biological needs are met, we're fed, we're rested, we're touching loved ones, and if there aren't very many loved ones in the house, then we're touching ourselves, and we're making sure that our basic functions and needs are continuing to be met. It might seem very obvious maybe to think about facing an anxiety attack by drinking a glass of water, but if the body's dehydrated, it's going to be sending danger signals through all of its systems. Anxiety or panic, let's start to think about those things in terms of a nervous system response. The autonomic nervous system of fight, flight, or freeze, or rest and digest, is continually checking our environment to make sure that we're safe and not in a life-threatening situation. And in the immediacy of the moment, if you're watching this video right now, you're probably in a moment of safety. Just give yourself a chance to look around the room and see what surrounds you with fresh eyes. Cast a little bit of appreciation over the things that you're perceiving around you and feel that same appreciation for yourself as you nourish yourself with a deep breath and a few sips of water. Now, continuing to think about stress and anxiety as conditions of the nervous system actually means that we have a lot of ability to intervene on our own behalf. And I would suggest to you that once you're making sure your basic needs are met, when you notice that your nervous system is starting to get a little kicky, it's starting to ramp up, begin to notice what are your early warning signs of that so you can intervene and take care of yourself sooner. And also begin to create a list of the strategies that are most effective for you. You are your own unique individual, and what works best for you in healthy ways may not be the same thing that works best for other people. You can see the other videos in this series for more recommendations of things you can try. And there's lots of resources online. Just check the descriptions in these videos for more suggestions. And as we're practicing self-care as a method of keeping ourselves calm, let's begin to broaden what we are viewing as self-care and self-acceptance and start to think radically about these things, which means we're not judging ourselves for the way we choose to care for ourselves. Healthy choices are recommended, but if you start binging on social media or with TV shows or on sugar or whatever else might be a substance or activity that you're using to help yourself cope, just notice that that's something that's useful for you right now. Acknowledge that that's important, it's filling a gap, and more, if possible, begin to replace those behaviors with things that leave you feeling genuinely cared for early on in the process, through the process of applying that self-care strategy, all the way out the other side where you're not giving yourself a hard time about it. And if you choose less healthy things, come back to that idea of radical self-acceptance and understand that you were meeting a need. The more we know where the impulse was coming from in the first place and honor the need itself, the more available bandwidth we have to begin to change strategies. So here's a strategy I'd like to share with you today. This is an expressive arts strategy I'm an expressive arts therapist. Expressive arts is a well-studied method of improving psychological well-being, and there's lots of reasons why this is so. A couple of my favorite reasons have to do with the cross-hemispheric action for the brain. So we're doing a little bit of left brain, right brain integration through expressive activities, and there's something repetitive about it. In any repetitive activity, our brain waves are shifting in the direction of what we see brains doing when a person is in meditation. And this is amplified by something highly repetitive, such as knitting or crocheting, where we're so absorbed in counting stitches that the brain actually will go into a fully meditative mode. And this would be true also for people who are dancing or playing their instruments or drawing for prolonged periods of time. But no pressure to be an artist in this. That's the joy of expressive arts, is that it's about the expression. It is about the process, not the end result. So we're creating for the sake of creation, for the sake of expression. Another one of my favorite aspects of this and great values to expressive arts is that it gets past our verbal blocks. Our brains are really intelligent, right? And they know how to feed us certain ideas, they know how to repeat patterns really well, but they also know how to hide things from us. So when we express ourselves creatively, it breaks down those verbal barriers and it allows things that we might not otherwise be able to process or understand to come through. And I want to show you how simple this is, okay? So this is echoed from a lot of expressive arts modalities as a foundation, and you'll find similar practices in yoga for the creative soul. But all I'm gonna do is grab some paper. I just took this out of my printer, and a pen. I took this out of my purse. So note to self, put your pen purse back. I fancy myself a writer, so I think I should have pens everywhere at all times. And the purse, as I'm sure you might know, is one of the first places they disappear from. It's all you're gonna do with whatever pen you grab. And hey, you know, if you have fancy fun pen, or if you have art supplies that you can borrow from the other members of your household, then feel welcome to bring color to this as well, but you don't have to. And all I'm gonna get you to do is take the instrument in your non-dominant hand. This is very important because when we hold things in our dominant hand, we're already in analysis. The inner critic, blah, 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 has so much to say constantly, back to radical self-acceptance again. And we can't do what we want to do with it if it's in our non-dominant hand. Not unless you're ambidextrous, in which case you don't have a non-dominant hand. So here we go, non-dominant hand, and all I'm gonna get you to do is tune into your breath. So together, let's just give back the breath, exhale, and then inhale. So nice, whew. And as you breathe out, just start letting your pen move across the page. And keep the breath going. And as soon as you notice your pen doing a patterned response, I notice that mine is wanting to make expanded infinity signs, little figure 8 shapes. As soon as you notice it getting into a pattern, start to notice the effect that that pattern is having on your breath. And notice the images that come to mind with that pattern. So as I'm making figure 8s, I'm thinking of waterways, I'm thinking of rocking boats or hammocks. So nice, wind blowing in trees. Already this is making me relax, but here's the thing. Patterns, for as much as they're relaxing, as discussed in this video already, also perpetuate other patterns. So if we're trying to break our stress patterns a little bit, let's just break the rhythm of this. And so I'm gonna go faster and bolder. I'm pressing a little harder on the page. And what I notice happening to my breath as this is going on is that it's started to get a little stuck in my chest. I notice that, and you'll hear the pen keep going, you'll notice that when you change the pattern, your stress response will kick up a bit. That's what the nervous system does. It responds to change with a little bit of stress. Are we still safe? Because something's different now. Yes, nervous system, we're still safe. And actually, when I look at what I've done here, and I think about how good it feels, I might have gotten a little bit of stress and anger out, especially in that scribble. That felt really good. And it felt so good that I'm gonna put it in my dominant hand. I'm gonna make a fist like a monkey or a toddler. And I'm really gonna give it, just for a second, I'm gonna let my face do the face thing. And I'm gonna let a sound come out, because hey, it's expressive arts. Sound is good too. Grrr. And then I feel like I don't really need to do that anymore. That is out of me. That is no longer a part of my psyche. So as you're playing along, soothing pattern, change pattern, am I still safe, letting some aggressive pattern out, you're processing through your feelings without needing to analyze them. It's just coming out of you. And now that the big wave has moved through, how's your breath, by the way? Yeah, me too. Whew. Now that big wave has run through, see what the pen wants to do. And what I'm noticing my pen is doing on this page is it's gone back to a similar pattern to where I started, but the loops are a lot bigger. There's a lot more space and a lot more fluidity in this action. Very measured, very soothing. So this expressive arts activity, which allowed us to go inwards a little bit, to express outwards, and to change a pattern in the nervous system while venting some perhaps unwanted feelings, took us through a process of beginning at some kind of baseline, probably where we sit most days, going through that expression, which would have been comfortable and uncomfortable to varying degrees, and coming out the other side with a bit more space, freedom, and relaxation. And let's just affirm that relaxation with a stretch and go up. Oh, so nice. And we don't get enough side bends in day-to-day life, so we'll just say thank you, spine, for all that you do with some side bends. A little twist one way, a little twist the other way. Ah, good stuff. I hope that practice is useful for you. I do encourage you to play with some kind of expression every day. You can follow a similar process as we did here with pen to paper, with a musical instrument if you have one in your house, with movement where you would do just a little expressive movement and then change it a little bit and then go back to where you started, see what your body wants to do, shake off the stress, shake out the sillies, as my kindergarten teacher used to say, and proceed from that release with a greater sense of calm in the nervous system and with more capacity for radical self-acceptance, radical self-care. Thank you for watching. Please do share this video with anybody that you think might benefit, and remember to check the description for more resources. Stay tuned for part 3. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I'll see you soon.